Welcome back to High Stakes, where we help you elevate your betting strategy. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated with our daily content. Looking for exclusive access to premium betting picks? Join us on Patreon. Links are available in the comments section below. Stay ahead of the game with High Stakes. The first weekend of the new year. And guess what? We've got Gonzaga versus Loyola Marymount. First, let's talk about Gonzaga. They've been getting a lot of hype, and sure, they have a solid 11-4 record, but let's be real about this. Their schedule's been tough, and yet they're still sitting here looking like they might need a few extra doses of confidence. After that opening night blowout against Baylor, everyone was ready to crown them as the team to beat, right? But since then, they've had their fair share of struggles. They've gone 2-4 against high-major opponents, which is fine if you're a mid-tier team, but Gonzaga? Nah, they're supposed to be above that. Their road games have been a struggle too. They've played 2 true road games this season. Yes, 2. They've won both, but barely. The first one was a 10-point win, and the other was against a pretty Pepperdine squad where they only won by 7. Not exactly the kind of dominant performances that scream national championship contender. And let's not forget their embarrassing loss to UCLA on the road. Add that up, and what do you have? A team that has some serious issues when playing away from their comfortable Spokane home. Now, let's shift to Loyola Marymount, or LMU for those in the know. These guys have been a little bit of a surprise this season. Sitting at 9-6, they've had their share of ups and downs, but they've been absolutely fantastic at home. Like, 9-1 fantastic. They've won 7 straight at Gersten Pavilion, and let's just casually mention their 21-point win over a decent Oregon State team in their last game. So yeah, they're no slouches when they're in front of their home crowd. Jevon Porter, their star guard, has been the real deal this season, dropping a career-high 22 points and pulling down 13 rebounds in that win over Oregon State. Let's just say he's been living up to his NBA brother's name, though he might be playing with more passion than Michael Porter Jr. sometimes. Defensively, LMU has been nothing short of solid, especially at home. They've kept teams under 75 points in every home game this season. And even Oregon State, a pretty decent offensive team, only managed 61 points in their most recent matchup. So, we know they can hold their own defensively, even against teams that can put up numbers. Now let's talk about that spread. Gonzaga's 16.5-point favorite, which, sure, if you want to put your money on a team that has struggled on the road and hasn't exactly been blowing out teams like they're supposed to. LMU might not have the same pedigree as Gonzaga, but when they play at home, they've been tough to beat. They've beaten good teams and played tough against the rest. Gonzaga might take the win, but expecting them to cover a 16.5-point spread on the road against a team that's firing on all cylinders? Yeah, good luck with that. LMU has the talent and the home court advantage to make this one close, so I'm rolling with them to cover that hefty spread. And don't even get me started on the total points. Gonzaga has been an absolute juggernaut offensively this season. They've dropped 80 or more points in 4 of their last 5 games and have been cruising through weaker competition. Against teams that have been a bit more of a challenge, like UCLA and even Pepperdine, they've still been scoring at will. And let's not forget that LMU has been lighting it up lately too, especially with Porter on fire. With both teams putting up points and Gonzaga's defense being, well, less than stellar, we can expect a lot of points in this one. If LMU is going to keep it close, they'll have to score, and if Gonzaga's offense continues to roll, the over on 152.5 seems like a no-brainer. In conclusion, LMU plus 16.5 points is where the value's at in this game. Gonzaga is not blowing out anyone on the road, and LMU has proven they can go toe-to-toe with strong teams at home. As for the total, over 152.5 points is the play. These teams will definitely put up enough to hit that mark. If you're betting this game, don't overthink it. The points will pile up, and LMU will give Gonzaga more of a fight than anyone expects. Here are some solid prop picks for the Gonzaga versus Loyola Marymount game. Jevon Porter over points. Why it's a strong pick. Jevon Porter has been the star for Loyola Marymount this season, particularly in the past few games. His breakout performance with 22 points and 13 rebounds against Oregon State is just one example of how he's become the focal point of LMU's offense. With Porter playing at home and coming off a stellar performance, he'll be looking to continue his strong play against Gonzaga's defense. Gonzaga's defense has been inconsistent, and Porter's skill set, combined with the fact that Gonzaga will likely focus on limiting other threats, makes this an ideal setup for him to rack up points. Expect Porter to take over a big chunk of the scoring responsibility for LMU, making the over on his points a high-value prop. Gonzaga team, total over. Why it's a strong pick. Gonzaga is an offensive powerhouse, having put up 80-plus points in 4 of their last 5 games, and they've been lighting up weaker competition all season long. With players like Drew Timm and Graham Ike contributing in a big way, It's hard to see them not scoring high against LMU, especially given LMU's less than stellar defense on the road. The Bulldogs' offense will likely keep firing on all cylinders. And even though LMU's defense has been solid at home, Gonzaga's offensive depth should push them to hit that 80-point mark easily. Additionally, if LMU stays competitive, Gonzaga will need to keep scoring to stay ahead, leading to more points overall. LMU total points over. Why it's a strong pick. LMU has shown that they can hang with the big boys at home. Their offense has been clicking, with players like Jevon Porter leading the charge. To cover the 16.5-point spread and make this game close, LMU will have to score efficiently against Gonzaga's defense, which has not always been airtight. LMU has been averaging solid offensive outputs, and their recent high-scoring games, including the 82-point performance against Oregon State, show that they are capable of putting up big numbers at Gersten Pavilion. With Porter likely carrying the offense, LMU's total points over is a strong pick, as they'll need to outscore their season average to keep this game close. Gonzaga to win by 1 to 10 points. Although Gonzaga is a household name in college basketball, their performance on the road this season has been a cause for concern. Despite boasting an 11-4 record, their 2 true road wins have been less than impressive. Their first road game of the season was a 10-point win, which might seem solid at first, but considering the competition, it wasn't as dominant as expected. The second road win came against Pepperdine, a team with a weak record, and even then, Gonzaga won by just 7 points. These aren't the kind of margin victories you'd expect from a national contender, especially against lower-tier opponents. When Gonzaga faced a higher-caliber team like UCLA on the road, they suffered an embarrassing defeat. This points to a clear trend. Gonzaga has struggled to put teams away when playing outside their comfort zone. They haven't looked like the dominant powerhouse that fans have come to expect. Their offensive firepower is undeniable, but when they're forced to play in an environment that's not Spokane, their execution seems to falter. This is crucial when considering the spread. A 16.5-point favorite on the road might just be too much for them to cover comfortably. On the flip side, Loyola Marymount, LMU, has been absolutely stellar at home this season, going 9-1. They've won 7 straight at Gersten Pavilion, with some impressive victories under their belt, including a dominant 21-point win over Oregon State. They've shown they can compete with stronger teams when they play in front of their home crowd. LMU's home court advantage is crucial here. Playing in front of a passionate home crowd in a smaller and more intimate venue like Gersten Pavilion gives the team an edge that might not be evident on paper. Gonzaga might be the superior team overall, but LMU is going to bring a level of energy and intensity that could keep the game much closer than many expect. While it's hard to envision Gonzaga losing this game outright, their struggles on the road and LMU's strength at home suggest that a blowout is unlikely. Gonzaga's talent will eventually shine through, and their offense should be enough to secure a win, but it's important to acknowledge that they won't run away with it. LMU's defense, while not elite, is capable of slowing down Gonzaga's offense to some extent, especially in a high-energy home environment. The Bulldogs might win, but with LMU's tenacity and ability to compete at home, the most likely scenario is that Gonzaga will take the win by a narrow margin, somewhere between 1 and 10 points. Expect Gonzaga to keep pushing the tempo and trying to pull away, but LMU will continue to fight, and it'll be a game that stays within striking distance for much of the contest. And that's a wrap on today's video, folks. I'm sure you're absolutely on the edge of your seat, eagerly awaiting the next thrilling installment of this channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because clearly you don't want to miss any of our daily videos. I mean, who could live without them? And while you're at it, smash that notification bell, so you can be the first to know when we drop more gems like this. Oh, and if you're looking for some premium picks, because, let's be honest, who isn't? Join our Patreon. It's where the real magic happens. Premium picks, insider info, and possibly even some mildly entertaining banter. So, hit that link, and we'll see you on the inside. Until next time, enjoy the game, make those bets, and remember, you're welcome.